Flyers respond in a big way with Moose's 41st shutout tonight. The boys look better in every aspect except giveaways. My God, the giveaways were ridiculous. But we get the dub.
Moose.
Man, he looked great. He with 40 shots. My biggest regret is he didn't save one more. Like, why not a 41 save shutout for the 41st? Like, the stars aligned, and you know what? He just messed up.
I'm sure he was like, let's just get the shit over with and cut done with it.
You're probably right.
I mean, come on, I got a shutout. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, he was facing a lot of rubber tonight, but we'll go over some real quick stats. Shots were 40-30, so right off the bat, Flyers did way better.
Still
a lot of
shot,
those, that's fine. You can be outshot by when you're still putting 30 up a game, and you know a lot of those shots came when the Flyers were already up by 2, and they were really trying to pour it on to tie the game up.
Yep.
We finally won in the face-off battle, which is what you'd expect. And, oh my God, the refs were horrible. Last game, we complimented them for being consistent. This game, no, not so much. There was no consistency whatsoever. They just didn't call anything. And I'm talking like trips out the wazoo, things that impacted the flow of the game, took away scoring chances. I don't know how the Sabers before tonight, I think they've only been shorthanded 3 or 4 times. Blows my mind because they're just over here tripping people up, cross-checking people into their own goaltenders and then punching them in the face while they're on the ice. No call whatsoever. God forbid.
Yeah, I found it funny because the announcers were like, oh, the Sabres are like the least penalized team in the NHL. And then we literally just counted 4 or 5 calls where it's like trip, hooking, trip. Like,
yeah,
what's going on here, guys?
Yep.
They did call Ristolainen, but that's about it.
And yeah, I was going to say they even let a couple go on us, but that Patrick one wasn't a trip. I looked at it again. It wasn't. He fell. I don't know what you're talking about. One of the big improvements tonight that I felt was the hits. Man, we had 37 hits. 37!
Yeah. There was a lot more aggression.
Listen, yesterday AV said that he was embarrassed to watch the game, and so were we. And he pretty much guaranteed that they would come out tonight and play better, and they did. They played angry. They played with a purpose. They actually had a pep in their step. They got the win. They got goals from Konechny, Voracek, and Hayes. Honest to God, thought Hayes had a pretty shitty game, but I mean, he got a goal and an assist, so I can't complain.
Yeah,
that
all
all came at the
goal,
end.
But yeah, Voracek's first goal of the season.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
It looked good.
It did look good.
TK's goal, though. TK's goal, the breakaway through the 5-hole.
I love that line. Flyers did some cool things. They lined up in warm-ups with their normal lines and then switched them for the start of the game. AV was taking no crap this game. Very quickly cycling the power play units out when they're not working. Changing the lines. Unfortunately, we lost 2 guys and potentially for a couple. We don't know anything yet, but Myers took a hit. He did not return. Frost had his stick. He got hit, and I think his stick was wedged into his wrist on the board. It didn't look good. He didn't even attempt to play the puck when it was right next to him. So that tells me that there's something with that wrist.
Yeah, the Frost one was a little weird. The Myers looked a little more obvious. It looked like his head did like one of these whiplash things. But Frost was a little stranger looking. It looked almost like it wasn't anything, and then it's just you see him laying on the ground like in pain. It looked odd. So it must have been he had his stick in his hand, and I guess when he got hit, it twisted his arm or something.
Yeah, the way that I saw it, his stick is over the hand, and then when he got hit, it kind of like wedged it against
Yeah.
himself and then on the board. It looked like an innocent enough hit, but I think the way that the stick just must have hit, everything must have hit it the right way to have him.
Well, hockey players aren't basketball and soccer players, so if they get hurt, they usually actually get hurt.
Yeah,
So
we're not talking about that. Oh, I
usually
tripped. Oh no, let me writhe in pain. Oh,
there's a hair in my eye. I can't play the game anymore.
I just, a fly just buzzed past me. I must fall to the ground. That's annoying. Anyway, we're not talking about soccer here.
So the Flyers looked a lot better. They looked a lot more aggressive, and they pushed the zone a lot harder, which I was very happy about. The game yesterday, when we were watching it, we were both talking about how they just didn't look aggressive. And we also talked about how even AV didn't seem like he was being aggressive enough. Both of those things changed. AV seemed a lot more aggressive in his changes and how he made changes to lines and who he had on the ice. There was actually a specific, I think it was their first power play, the Flyers' first, and it might have been like one of two, that I forget which power play it was. It was power play 1 was out,
Power play
and
1.
they weren't making anything of it, so he immediately called them back on an offsides. He was like, yeah, just get the other power play unit out there because this isn't working.
30. I think they were out there for 30 seconds, and they spent the entire 30 seconds dilly-dallying in the neutral zone.
Yeah, and then got an offsides call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some concern going forward about our power play because it didn't look good. It didn't look good. It looked like the power play of old, the one from last year, and that's depressing.
Yeah, well, Hutton played like almost as well as Elliott tonight, so I can't fault them completely because 5-on-5 they weren't really scoring for a while, and on the power play they weren't scoring, but there wasn't many power play chances for us to have a large enough sample size, right? Yeah, they didn't look good that 1.5 power play, but I don't know. It's not enough because in our first game, power plays looked fine, right?
Well, not really. In the first game we were 2 for 3. In the second game we were 1 for 6. I don't think 1 for 6 is a great stat.
No, 1 for 6 isn't, but in our first game, 2 for 3 is.
Yeah, but that's one. We have 1 good game of power plays and 3 of bad. It's that trend doesn't inspire confidence. But man, Elliott played fantastic. He stood on his head.
Was a wall. Yeah.
Oh yeah, made a couple really impressive saves, especially towards the end to preserve the shutout. I mean, there was one chance I think he had no business.
There was some moments where he was breakdancing. He was trying real hard not to let anything in.
I think the Flyers' best line had to have been Patrick, Lindblom, and Konechny. They were buzzing. The whole sequence for TK's first goal, which was super important because Buffalo had all the momentum at that point. They had gotten 10 straight shots in a row after we were beating them in shots. Everything was going their way. Patrick gave up the puck, made a great defensive effort to get the puck back, got it to Lindblom. Lindblom had a perfect pass to TK, and he put it home. And then Flyers never looked back after that.
Yeah, that line did definitely look pretty nice. Which is interesting because I was a big fan of the G Hayes, and I'm a big fan of something I can't even remember the players to.
Farabee.
The second line, Farabee. So I didn't really want that to get switched up, but obviously yesterday we proved that it wasn't the golden line anyway, so it didn't end up mattering. So after Frost got injured, they just it was JVR, Voracek, and G on one line. And
I think so.
And Patrick and Konechny and Lindblom on another line. And that old young setup there. It's like harken back to the Haxtell days a little bit worried there for a second, and then it ended up working out with that young line. So
I'm looking ahead. I wonder what they're gonna do with the lines. Just a quick brainstorming. So we're out. Coots. I'm assuming Frost is out for us a little bit. It didn't look like a stinger. It looked a little more severe than that. So we need a center. I assume that they'll probably keep the Patrick line, Patrick Lindblom and Konechny together. I would imagine that Lawton will probably move up to the third line, and we'll have to bring somebody in from the taxi squad. Two people, technically. We need a defenseman if Myers is out long term, and another center or winger. Depends on how they switch it up.
Yeah, I suspect we'll see Twarynski come in because he has the most experience out of everyone left on the taxi squad. Bottomman's up there too, but
I'm telling you, it's time to unleash Big Sam Morin. All right, we had 37 hits, and here's what I don't like to see. I love to see it. TK was throwing the body around, but it always scares me when TK throws the body around because he just bounces off of dudes and then they tower over him while he just chirps them to just rage, and I think he's just going to get really hurt. That's why we need Sam to skate right behind Konechny wherever he goes. So whenever Konechny chirps, Sam's just there like, come on, do something about it.
He's like, did you ever see that meme with the MMO characters? It's like when you bring your friend to an MMO, and it's just their little like character like beating on a rock, and then you just see the big guy in the armor behind him, like, don't touch. I don't know. I think TK would respond with, I can take care of myself. So
yeah, that's fine. But it's also nice when you have a monster in your corner, someone who can really throw the body around. I like this Flyers look. I really did. I'm really happy that they threw the body around. They responded in every way they needed to. I gotta say, man, turnovers though still a problem, and a lot of it, like Buffalo did a good job at clogging the neutral zone even in this game. The Flyers just did a better job at penetrating that. They really struggled getting pucks on net in the early part, but they just kept doing these weird, weak, no-look backhand attempts, like trying to pass to somebody on the backhand or clear the puck on the backhand. I lost track of how many times it happened, but they got into some serious trouble, and they're lucky Moose bailed them out. But that can't keep happening.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird, questionable play attempts. It's almost like they expected, like they had practiced it and they just weren't in the right spot for it. It almost looked like muscle memory for a couple of them. But you know what looked a lot better to me tonight was Gus.
Yeah.
Now that's relative because he looked like dog for 3 games. Tonight he looked a lot better. He had an assist, took a couple shots, and he wasn't as giveaway heavy. Now, he's still a player that didn't have a training camp and really only had one scrimmage. You know, he only had one scrimmage with the team for, any
type
of
hard.
Yeah, there's no way he's coming into this knowing all the ins and outs of Flyers players who have played with each other for years. So
I will agree. He definitely looked better. I like that he had some very decisive shots, is how I would describe it, which is what you want him there for. You want him to be taking those bombs from the blue line. He was guilty of one of those weak-ass attempts, but a great rebound effort for him.
Yeah, looked a lot better. I think time will help him in his game. He seemed lost last game. Like, he almost looked like he shouldn't have been a hockey player. Like, he just straight up, like, if I imagine him holding a stick and not knowing which end to use. Like, that's what he looked like last game. And this game, he looked phenomenally better. Now, again, that's relative because, the bottom of the barrel, everything's better than that, right? So.
And listen, as long as you're getting points, it's very easy to just look at those giveaways and those other stats and be like, yeah, but he's scoring.
Yeah, he also had 2 block shots. So
Flyers had a lot. I think 11 or 12 block shots. They did a really good job at getting in front of the pucks. I felt they got back to
Provorov saved Elliott in one of those shots.
On the power play, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Early in the game.
He like went down in the butterfly and snatched it like he had like a mid on. Like
I think he hurt himself a little bit on
Yeah,
that.
he did hurt himself. Yeah, but it's Provorov, so he just ignored it.
Yeah,
The Russian man.
Man, he doesn't have an off season. I think he never stops playing hockey. I think his house is a hockey rink, and he wakes up and does sprints.
He sleeps on the ice.
Yeah. He has an ice pillow.
I hope so. Yeah, because through the whole COVID thing, like the whole break where they weren't sure how they're going to do the playoffs, the one thing that was in the news in Philly was like Provorov's still practicing. He just won't stop.
Everybody else is with their family.
Yeah.
G and Coots are having kids and stuff, and Provy's like hockey.
Must hockey.
I'm about it. I'm glad he's on our team. His work ethic is impressive, and I'm sure inspiring.
Yeah, he's the next like quintessential Flyer player for me. Like losing Simmons. Simmons to me was like the Flyers player. Like if you had something that embodied Flyers, it was Simmons.
I think Provorov will eventually be the next captain.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it'll be good for him. It's not going to happen for a while. G's not going anywhere anytime soon. And,
no, not yet.
I know a lot of people would love to trade G. I thought, oh man, people are annoying. He's our captain, man. Like, I want him to retire a Flyer because I think that's the right thing to do. I want him to break all the Flyers records, and I want him and Provorov to eventually beat Brendamore's consecutive game streak. They got another couple seasons to go, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. So, the 21st, we have the Bruins coming up at 7 p.m. Is there anything else we want to say about this game?
Yeah, one thing that I'm a little worried about is these injuries. You got to think, is this a lack of preparation? You know, there's no training camp. You know, the guys don't have a chance to really adjust their bodies to not only full game speed, but taking massive hits. We're just seeing a lot of injuries, so I'm wondering if this is maybe a connection to the lack of preparation time before the start of the season.
I think definitely for Frost it was. I think for Myers it was more of the angle that he took that hit at, because he was trying to hit while the Buffalo player was trying to hit. They both collided with each other, but Myers took it sideways and the other guy took it forwards. So his neck just went like when he took that hit.
Probably just has whiplash.
Yeah. So he probably tweaked something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. But.
Yeah. Well, hey man, the Bruins I believe, have yet to score an even strength goal still. So I'm feeling pretty confident. We said in our weekly podcast that the Sabers could grab one, and they did. But going forward, I really expect the Flyers to win both these games. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston doesn't even make the playoffs. In this division, it's possible that they just don't make it.
It's looking like it from what we have so far, but again, it's the beginning of the season. We'll see, when Pasta comes back, if things change.
Well, Pasta's the kind of guy that turns everything around, You put a talker about there.
He's a talented player, 95 points. So
yeah, just a pure goal scorer. So, hey, I look forward to that game. And let's go Flyers, One loss, we're trucking along. I'm still feeling good, I'm glad they got that egg out of the way because they responded how I wanted them to. I would have been worried if we had another lackluster effort tonight, but, it's Flyers hockey. We'll see. Next man up. We'll see what lineup changes are going to be had going forward. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Frost and Myers are set, and we'll see what happens.
We're first in the East right now, man. So
First in the East.
All
right. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll be back after the Bruins game.
Have a good one.